All right, hello everyone. So 7.3 is on what's called special products. So there's two different kinds. I don't want to use a 2. Let's do 3. Okay, so the first one looks like that. And the mistake that I see happen most often is like they think, oh well, let's just do x to the second power, do 3 to the second power, and that's not going to give you the correct answer. So remember, squared means something times the same thing. So it just means write the x plus 3 twice. And then do the same thing that we did yesterday. So x times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 3 is 9. So what makes it a special case is, kind of, again, it's the same thing in each parentheses, so that's like part of it. But then you're also going to have the same thing here in the middle, 3 and 3. And so then we would get 3x plus 3x is 6x plus 9. Okay, so, if you had 2x minus 5 squared, 2x minus 5, 2x minus 5, 2x times 2x, 4x squared, 2x times negative 5, negative 10x, so be careful with your signs. Another negative 10x, and then negative, negative, positive 25. Okay, and then again, the x squared part at the beginning, you're not going to be able to combine with. Negative 10 and negative 10 is negative 20. It's not 0. In order for it to be 0, you'd have to have one positive and one negative. It's like minus 10 and then minus 10 again, minus 20. Okay, and then 25. So I think there might be on this assignment some 3 terms. Okay, use 2 letters. So you might have 3x plus 4y. Okay, so nothing different. You're just going to have multiple letters in the problem. Which 9x squared. So when you do it, okay, 3 times 4 is 12, and then it's just xy. You can't combine them and make a new letter. So, and then again, plus 12xy, and 4y times 4y is 16y squared. So you can again combine these two things in the middle. As long as they both have xy, you're good. So 12 plus 12, 24xy, 16y squared. Okay, so there's a couple problems that I think it says mental math. And it's kind of wanting you to see, it talks about a pattern. I don't like the pattern because then, you're just trying to memorize something with a pattern for these problems. I think sometimes causes more problems than it does good. But like the pattern, if you look at this one, like the 9 comes from, 3 times 3, and then it's x squared. And then the 16 at the end comes from, the 4 times 4 is 16, y squared. And then the stuff in the middle comes from, like, well, there's a 12, but then there's another 12. There's like two of them, 12 and 12, and then xy. It comes from like multiplying these two things together. So there is like a pattern to it. I just think that it's easy enough to just write it out and multiply it. So what they're wanting you to do is sometimes is say like, well, what if you were doing 32 squared? That's not something that I would expect any of you to just do in your head. But what if it was thought of as like 30 plus 2? That's the same as 32. And if we did 30 plus 2 again, you might be able to like multiply it out a little bit easier. So numbers that end in 0 are definitely easier to work with. So 30 and 30 is 900. Just 3 times 3 is 9, then there's 2 zeros. And 30 times 2 is 60, and another 60, and then 2 times 2 is 4. And then when you add all that up, this is where it gets a little bit harder, the mental math side of things. But 60 and 60, is 120. So 900 plus 120 would be 1,024. And so it's going to actually say, try it in your head. And it is difficult, I think. I think sometimes like the adding is actually more difficult than the multiplying part of it, just to keep track of it. So just give it a shot. I'm not like super concerned about those ones. I'm more concerned about the ones with the variables, like the other problems. Other ones, like our answer is 3 terms. This one, then the other one, and this will be kind of a big thing to try to remember when we get to the second part of the chapter, is called a difference of squares. And so these ones will have one positive and one negative. So the other, the other ones, they're called perfect squares, but I like the name for this one. It'll help us again. But it was like 3x plus 5, 3x plus 5, or 2x minus 2, 2x minus 2, like whatever. These are one of each. And so what happens when we multiply these, 9x squared minus 15x plus 15x minus 25. And so when you go to combine them, negative 15 and positive 15 is 0. So those do cancel each other out, and you're just left with 2 terms. Difference means subtraction, so there's our subtraction. And squares mean like 3 squared is 9 and 5 squared is 25. So that's kind of like the name of it. So this is the only situation, if you notice, like is the only one where you'll get 2 as the answer. Okay, so again, you might have ones with multiple letters. 2x times 2x, 4x squared, negative 14xy, positive 14xy, negative 49y squared. And so again, those middle two cancel each other out. 4x squared minus 49y squared. Okay, and then again, there's some like mental math, like part of it, and this one's a little less, like doing the squared part, that can come up periodically, but doing a difference of squares, it'd have to be like, 22 times 18. Where you could write this one as 20 plus 2, and you could write 18 as 20 minus 2. And so for this like pattern to work, it has to be like the same number. 22 is 2 higher than 20, and 18 is 2 lower than 20. It has to be like the same like amount higher and lower, otherwise it doesn't work. So if it does happen that way, that middle part cancels itself out. So really what you're doing is 20 times 20 is 400. And then 2 times 2, but it's negative 2, is minus 4. And so then we have 396. Okay, which is really fast. A lot faster than 22 times 18 and like actually working it all out. But it's just a situation that doesn't always pop up. But there will be some, again, mental math that it wants you to kind of do that. So do the best you can again on that one. Again, I'm most concerned with the other type because that's what we'll see moving forward much more than we will the numbers by themselves. Okay, so a lot of similarities to yesterday. Again, try these. This is something that if you work at it is not that hard. You should do well on it. It's a good chance to get your grade up if you need to get your grade up. It's a good chance to solidify your grade and get some like points built up. So if there's some stuff we struggle with down the road, it's not going to totally mess you up. Okay? All right, so that's all we got. Knock this out and we'll move forward. Okay? Have a great day and we'll see you tomorrow.